If you are interested in industrial placement, then good news is this video is going to tell you everything that you need to know about doing an industrial placement in the UK, and it comes from someone who has already done it. I have previously done industrial placement with one of the biggest pharmaceutical companies, GSK. So in this video, I'm going to spill all of the teas that you need to know about getting an industrial placement and how you can go about it. If you don't know who I am, my name is Mingke and I am a career coach. I was previously an international student, but I have been sharing content and helping students across UK, US, Canada, and everywhere in the world. So if you haven't followed me yet, make sure you subscribe for future career-focused videos. First, let's have a look at what is an industrial placement. Industrial placement is a form of internship, meaning it is short-term work with a company and you'll be given certain tasks to do within an organization, so you have a bit of taste on what actually working is like in an industry. Now, it is different from internship in a sense of industrial placement is usually for 1 year long, usually 10 to 12 months, versus internship is usually only 2 to 3 months. And it's usually structured into your undergraduate studies, meaning that you're going to spend 1 year away from studies working for an organization. And usually this happens between the second year and third, which is the final year of your undergrad studies. Not every university allows you to do industrial placement, so when you are picking universities and the programs, you should already have some ideas on whether you want to do year-long internship or whether you want to have the flexibility to change from a 3-year degree to a 4-year degree with industrial placement integrated. Now, knowing you need to do it between the second year and the third year, then it kind of tells you what is the best time to apply for industrial placement. The best time would be the starting of your second year degree. Ideally, as soon as you start your second year, you should start applying for industrial placements, because for companies that offer industrial placements, they usually have limited spaces. So for example, previously when I was in GSK, they had pretty huge quota for industrial placement students. I think it's around 100 to 120 students just for research and development purpose. So it comes on a first come, first serve basis. And the earlier you start preparing, the earlier you start interviewing with them, the earlier you will get your job offer, and you will have a peace of mind before you even finish your second year of university. Now, one thing to bear in mind is you have the flexibility to switch, meaning if you got into a program within a university where it's 3 years with no industrial placement, if you start applying and got an offer for, industrial placement, then you can go back to the university and ask them to switch to a 4-year degree. Now, this might involve a little bit of change of your visa if you're an international student, because you need to extend your visa from 3 years to 4 years of being a student visa, but it does allow you to work for the company if you do end up having a job offer. And vice versa, if you enroll into a 4-year degree with industrial placement and unfortunately you couldn't find any placement opportunity, then you can go back to the uni and ask them to convert it back to a 3-year degree. Now let's look at what type of industrial placement programs you can do. It's very big range. You can do industrial placement in, business, admin, operation, product, even coding, or the scientific roles. So it is a big range of different department that you can choose to work for. But obviously the type of department you choose to work for should be related to your studies. And it's very much related to your study because at that time you didn't have any work experience. All you have is just academic performance and some volunteering or NGO or even like work shadowing experience you had before. I actually made this mistake when I was applying for my industrial placement. For the first 3 months when I started applying, I had no idea where I should go into. I came from biological degree. I was applying for, formulation scientific roles. I was applying for, like the manufacturing part of the role because I was quite idealistic, thinking that I have scientific background, then I should be able to, apply to different roles. But little did I know how selective they are and how specific they are when it comes to evaluating your skills. So if you come from, engineering background, if you come from especially mechanical engineering, go specifically into manufacturing. And even if you come from, let's say biochemical versus biology degree, these are quite different areas as well. Let's talk about the application process. The application process really depends on the type of company that you're applying to, and this is something that is similar to applying for a full-time position. So when you're applying for industrial placement, if you're going for a big company like GSK, or like the biggest food company, Mondelez, which I actually did an assessment center with them before, due to the sheer amount of volume of application they receive for any kind of roles, they have a structured and automated system to screen candidates. What's going to happen is you will need to do online tests once you have submitted the application form and your CV and other materials. And once you pass the online test, then you'll be invited for potentially a virtual interview, depending on the company, or the first round of phone screening interview with a company. And then if you pass that, you will be invited to potentially assessment center, which is on site. You will spend 1 or 2 days in the company, viewing the company and interacting with the employees, as well as doing some more interviews and activities. So the purpose for them is to actually see you in person and also see how you interact with other, teammates. And if you pass the assessment center, you might have a final interview with someone who is more senior for the team. Again, it depends on the company. Now, this is going to be very daunting if you have never searched for roles before. At least officially, you will be pretty scared of how to write a CV. You'll be pretty scared of how do I talk to people, and you'll be pretty scared to, even talk to your future manager if you have, never met him or her before, especially as an international student. And I did my first assessment center. I was terrified because my English was really bad. I struggled to express myself. It was nowhere near where I am now in terms of my English. It does take you a lot of preparation in terms of, application, as well as going through the actual process repetitively so that you can actually understand and improve over time. Now, the next thing is, should you actually do an industrial placement? So this is a $1 million question. As someone who has done it, I have lots of friends who have done it before. I can see the effects of industrial placement in our later career and our later studies. So here I'm going to summarize all of that into this video as well. Let's look at the downsides of doing industrial placement. Usually, you will spend a whole year out of your study to go into an industry and work for a company. The first thing is really the length of time needed to do this industrial placement. Generally, if any kind of internship that you are doing, whether it's 2 to 3 months or like 1 year long, it should just give you an opportunity to see and experience how it's actually like working in this industry. Generally speaking, it should just take you 2 to 3 months to adjust to new environments, pick up learnings, as well as, actually delivering impacts for the organization. Having that extra extended period of time to do the internship, I would say sometimes it's not the most time efficient way of doing internship. And the second biggest downside is the type of work that you will be doing. When you are not a permanent employee in an organization, especially when you are a student, then generally speaking, the type of work that you'll be given to do in an organization, especially in a very short period of time, will be generally quite repetitive and less complicated task. A way to say, you will not be given, very highly complex, challenging work to do where you will be doing a bit more repetitive work. And that is, something that you would expect when you go into an industrial placement. So what does that mean? It could mean that you are doing more routine work for the whole year rather than keep learning new things or learning new techniques. It could result in slightly delay in your studies just because you're doing a lot of routine work for a company. I would say based on my experience, these are the two biggest, downsides of doing an industrial placement. Now let's have a look at the upside. So the biggest advantage of doing an industrial placement, especially if you don't have any experience, is it adds really good experience to your CV if you work for a big, well-known organization. We all know when you are looking for a full-time position, companies, they look out for not just the academic performance, but also the type of experience you already had previously. And this is a solid way to show future employer how much work you've done, how familiarized you are already with the industry, as well as what kind of skills you already learned from actually working for a company. So these are very valuable, and these are the type of things that you won't be able to get from just doing a degree. I do recognize the value of the industrial placement, because even when I was looking for my full-time job, the fact that I worked in GSK helped me a lot. Not just telling them that I already have the professional working experience, but at the same time I have deep knowledge of how that company is like and how that industry is like. And this really helped me to open the doors and opportunities for future interview opportunities, and also really helped me to land my job offers. Also, on top of that, you are going to get professional network. The fact that you are joining other students in the same year to do an industrial placement in the same company, you have that network of students who had the same experience as you in the same organization, and your future paths are going to be more similar to your classmates who didn't do internship in the same company before, didn't receive the same influence or impacts from that organization. And also the fact that you spend 1 year within a company, you are going to attend seminars, conferences, and meetings with other departments. These are amazing opportunities for you to learn from other professionals in different departments or even different companies. So these are the valuable contacts to be added into your network, and you can leverage these network and contacts for your future full-time opportunities. Now, the second biggest advantage of doing industrial placement is actually you will be paid to do work for the companies. It will not be super high. It will be in the range of 18,000 to 22,000 pounds per year. As a student, this is going to be the biggest kind of salary that you will ever receive. And at the same time, your tuition fee during that year of industrial placement will be heavily reduced. So during that year, you can actually save up a lot, because you're actually earning quite a lot of money and you're not spending as much as you need to. This would set you up for some financial investment if you want to do it in the future, or even use it for any kind of funds, or starting your own side hustle if possible. So overall, even though an industrial placement takes longer than the traditional internship, you will not be given, challenging tasks to do, but the fact that you're going to get valuable work experience, which are going to be very useful for your future application. The fact that you can accumulate some professional network as well as some financial bump is still making industrial placement pretty attractive opportunity for students. And here's a tip for the pros. When you're in your second year of universities, make sure you apply to both internship and industrial placements. So this way, you have the opportunity to pick either of them if you do end up getting offers for both. But if you don't have offer for either, then the other one is a backup option, given that the amount of effort that you need to go through the application process is pretty much similar. So absolutely, if you have any ways to get more experience, definitely do it. This is Mingke. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next video.